everyone, welcome back to the channel. Episode 3, I believe I'm on already. With Ben's, with my around the UK tour. A little bit different this time. Again, I want to try and keep the weather as close as we can to the real world. That's why it's just hanging around just to make sure it all kicks in. A few things I've added to the sim, which I'll go over in a minute as well. Again, every episode is different. I'm trying to make it as real as I can, and spice it up a little bit. But so for the last leg, we took off from, we were down in Coldrose, went all the way up the coast via Plymouth, and we ended up in Exeter, where we are now. The next hop is a lot shorter actually. Should only be about 30-minute flight, hopefully. Maybe with some look around and some of the scenery again. We're going to be coming from Exeter. I thought we would just brush Yeovilton airfield and then down into Bournemouth to try and again, I wanted to go a little bit inland on this one instead of the coast. The difference in this one, the first two I've been in the PA28, but I've been following a couple of other channels, the Flying Dad and a few of the others out there which are trying different aircraft, and I thought I'd give it a go. So this one is going to be in the Cessna 172SP with the WB mod on. Haven't got the sounds to go with it. I know a lot of people are saying to go with the sounds as well, and I will eventually get them, but I believe this only comes with the deluxe or premium deluxe versions of the flight sim. I haven't got the full, I've got the mid-range at the minute, but luckily it's got it in there. I've downloaded the mod inside, and apparently it's supposed to be really good fun. I've had a quick look over everything. Again, it's my first time flying this one. Every day is a learning day. Hopefully it'll be enjoyable. I'm probably going to make some mess ups on the way. Printed out a nice little. I usually use, for reference, JD, JAYDEE checklists on flightsim.to. Actually, I tend to find JD's checklists are absolutely fantastic. I just like the way they're presented, and it's nice to have I know on the PA28, on my last couple of videos I had a couple where it was on the iPad internal on the EFB, but having them in my hand is a lot better, so I don't have to keep looking around the cockpit, moving the camera, which can be quite annoying. So yeah, again, a couple of extras as well apart from the different aircraft this time around. I'm using Rex weather. I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference. I've heard some good and some bad. I bought it years ago, which I never used, so I thought I'd put it in here. I'd noticed a few discrepancies on the last flight with the weather. The weather was different using with the real world slightly out. Again, using the Sky Demon app on the outside is hopefully going to give us some kind of sync there with the weather, which is quite nice. And I've also put the AccuSeason Advanced Edition on for trees around the area. Again, I don't know how that's going to look until we get into the air, but hopefully it's all live and injected. But yeah, I've heard some good things about that. I've also heard some bad things, so I think we'll just get up there and see what it does. So yeah, so today again we're going to be flying a very quick flight, 30 minutes tops. Really trying to get to grips with this, the 172. Even in the real world, I said when I was doing my PPL years ago, I've only done low wing aircraft, so this is a high wing and very different. So it should be good fun to do. So yeah, hopefully we'll enjoy this little hop. See if we get from A to B safely. And see how we go from there. So let's crack on. Just going to make sure everything fits as normal and works. I've had to reset up all my, because I used the Thrustmaster flight stick and the Airbus sticks. I try to, you know what it's like, trying to get all the key bindings working as best as you can. So yeah, hopefully that'll do as well. So right, so at Exeter at the minute, let's just bring up this again so you can see this. I'm quite enjoying this. So at Exeter today, I should be able to hit this go flying button and use X-Plane, and there we go. Works again. I'm using the XMapC piece of software. It's worth it. I think it was about £5-6 actually. Sends all the details I need to. So this is Exeter today. Just popping over quickly to Navigraph, having a look at the charts. Sorry, the weather. I quite like using this for the weather quickly, but runway 26, as you see, it looks like the best one at the minute with the headwind of 10 knots and just a 4 knots crosswind coming in. So runway 26 definitely looks like the one to be going from today. So we will hopefully get going. Now I've been down Exeter a couple of times actually, where Flybe used to base, if I remember correctly. So we'll get to Charlie 1 here, hold, probably do a run-up test. Again, with the WB mod, I hear you can get some spark plug fouling as well. So it'd be good to see that in action, just to see how it affects the RPM, how we clean them out by blasting and bringing the lean in back and blasting the engine to see if it makes a difference. But that'd be really good to see how that works as well. So we'll go to Charlie 1, enter Charlie 1, and we'll backtrack all the way to 26 and take off. So from there, we will, I think we'll do a left-hand turn out. I haven't exactly got the original charts, but I mean the airspace is pretty free down here until we start getting closer to the middle of the UK. So we'll do a left-hand turn out and probably hug back around and then pretty much follow the A30 all the way up until we get kind of mid-range here and go from there. It is VFR, so we do get a little bit of leniency, which is quite nice. So yeah, let's follow these. It's the only problem with the iPad, it can get a little bit messy. So let's go all the way into where we are. Try and follow where we got to go. So the flight today, planning wise, was roughly about, I've got 65 litres in the tanks. I've already put that in. Let's bring back here. 65 litres in the tanks. So let's have a quick look. 34. So yeah, 35. Roughly, yeah, okay. So 60, 70. Let's bring it down just ever so much. I don't want to overly do it. I think that'll be, we'll go with 34. Just over 65 in the tank. Just me as the pilot. Just the one. So that bit's all done. Right, so let's see how we get on with the checklist. So, pre-flight, so park and brake is set. Just going to test this. There we go, set there. We have, where are we? So, control locks remove. So this is where we need to, see if I can get rid of this. So the ADF over here contains the hidden menu, so but we need to switch on the battery to get to it. So avionics master off, ignition switches are off, electrical switches are all off. I believe the WB mod, all the circuit breakers work as well. Again, they've done quite a good job of this by the sounds of it. Again, I've never used it, but we'll give it a go. Mixture idle cut off, where we are down here. Okay, let's turn the master switch on. So master switch on here, bring a small bit of power. Hopefully we should be able to get this switched on just so I can see. Nope. Okay, so it's the avionics, isn't it? Of course. Master switch on, full fuel quantity check. So let's just check our fuel. Again, I'm all over the place. I'm so used to the PA28. So left and right tanks look pretty balanced in the middle there. Avionics on. Here we go. Master switch. Bus 1 and bus 2 on. Let's give that a second. Looks like it's doing its warm-up tests. Let everything come on here. Just want to bring this ADF on. There we go. And then we should be able to click in the middle and we get this. Yeah, we get this realism. So I think we're going to flip the realism to on. The WB mod gives us engine health. It looks at the oil levels, and these all change as you go along, which is great. Apparently we can flip this across. Let's remove the wheel chocks, the pitot cover, which they were over here. See, we've got the tie downs on there as well, and the cowl plugs all come off as well. So take a sneaky look outside. Everything should be clear and free. So that's good. That worked. See if there's anything else in here. You can change the LCD colours just for a little bit of fun. Trim tab, state saving off. State saving off. I've got that off at the minute. Pretty certain we'll be okay, and we'll put it back there. Right, so we've checked that. Fuel quantity on. We'll turn the avionics masters off again to save that. Static pressure alternative sources off. We've also got. You can tell I've not used this one before, but it's good fun. Annunciator test switch test. So the annunciators, I believe, are up here. We can click that, see everything light up. So everything's good. Okay, so fuel selector valve both and fuel shut-off valves on. So down here, I believe, is our fuel selector valve. So let's put that to both. It balances everything out. And fuel shut-off goes in. So we get some fuel in there. Okay, lights, flaps are down, pitot heat is on. So let's just do our normal. So we can put our beacon on. We'll put our landing lights on. Our strobes and our navigation there. It's pretty okay today. I mean, it's cold, but we'll set the pitot heat on as well. See if it kicks up a fuss. Switch it off again and master switch it off. So we're back to elevator trim set for takeoff. Back to the bits down here. So down here we set this to takeoff and the exterior inspection. Just check. I mean, it's a sim. I would hazard a guess it's okay. Be interesting to see if the WB mod does give us anything on the outside, which would be nice to see. So, right, before starting the engine. So, brakes, test and set. So we give the brakes a little press on my stick here. That looks good. Circuit breakers are all in. Avionics master off. Ignition switch is off, and the electrical equipment is everything's switched off. We got the fuel on both, and the fuel shut-off valve is in. So that's before start. Start of the engine. So doors are closed. That's the only thing I don't think they do here. I don't think the doors open, but they are closed definitely. Throttle open about 1/4 of an inch. So slightly bring the throttle in here, just for a little bit. Mixture idle cut off, which is we are down here for now. Propeller aero is clear. We've definitely no crazy old people out the front. Master, right, so we're going to put a master switch, nav lights and beacons on. So our master switches are going to go on. Our nav lights have already put on. Our beacon we switched on there. Auxiliary fuel pump is on, so we put the fuel pump on. And then mixture rich for 5 seconds, all the way in. Look at stable fuel flow, which I believe we can look here and here. Everything looks okay. And we bring the mixture back, all the way back there. And we turn the fuel pump off. Okay. I really shouldn't have gone over these myself. Okay, ignition switch. Okay, we start the engine, and I believe we turn all the avionics, which is a bit like the real world, I believe. Get the engine going so we don't, drain the battery. So, ignition switch, we hold start. Engine fires, release it, and then put the mixture to rich. Let's see if we can bring this in now. So, we've got the right mag, the left on both. So, a quick look out the front so we can see it. Let's start the engine. And then full rich. Ooh, does sound chuggy, which is good actually. Here it's struggling a little bit. Okay. So oil pressure. Let's have a quick look at our pressures and vacs and stuff down here. So fuel flow still down, I guess that's correct. We've got our oil pressures come up, which is in the green, and our temperature takes a little while for this to come up, so we'll keep an eye on that before we go. Hold it at 1000 RPM and we try and lean the mixture. Now I was watching a couple of videos on this. Just if we bring it up here, we lean it just to the point where the RPMs start to wobble a little bit. We have got some wobble in there, so we may have to do in the pre-run up checks just in case there's those foul plugs. Again, I'm quite new to this, so I don't really know if that's straight away modelled, but we start to bring the mixture back until it really starts to wobble. That's a good indication of how far we can lean it back. There we go. It starts to dip a little bit there, so a little bit forward there. Okay. After engine start, so we now have internal lights as required, cabin heat as required, don't need any of that. Now we'll turn the avionics masses on. So com nav, we're not going to be using these, but again I'll switch them on and just try to switch them on, see how we get on. So there's a button here somewhere. Okay, so switch on the Garmin's. So we give this one a little turn here. Let these boot up. Again, we're not really going to be using these today, so it's all VFR, but it's good to see them in action. So the altimeter is set local. This reflects this autopilot down here as well. It pops up, which I've set, which I think is pretty good actually. I think that's real world as well. Fuel quantities checked. So again, we've had a quick look at the fuel quantity there. Pitot heat as required, which we will put on just because it is a little bit chilly. Not that we probably need it. Flap set for takeoff. I think we've got a pretty long runway at Exeter, so we won't use them. We'll save them down. We've already set our trim for takeoff, and our flight controls are 4 and 3. So let's just have a move around there on the pedals. Have a quick look out the window. Bring that down a bit. Be able to see everything's moving around nicely. We can actually look out the back as well, just to see everything as it should be. Okay. Right, Garmin's booted up now, so okay on that one, enter on that one, enter again, enter. Again, we won't be using them, but I think maybe in a future episode we'll definitely have a look at them. I think they're really good to try and get used to. Okay, so just have a quick look, make sure nothing's shining. We'll put this up nav. I know we're not using it again today. It's all going to be VFR and with a little bit of the again, I'm using Sky Demon on the back end, so hopefully we can use that straight away. Autopilot's off. We can. Ooh. Okay, so check everything looks good. The engine's leaned. It is dropping a little bit, so we may have to just run it ever so slightly. Let's bring it up to 1,000 and keep that running. So taxi. We're going to release the parking brakes, check the brakes, and we'll check the engine, and lean mixture during taxi prevent power. Okay, so we are leaned a little bit now just to be safe. So right, so I accidentally, just for reference, pulled the circuit breaker on the autopilot because I thought it was popped out, but it's not. It's just highlighted for me, which is good. But as you can see, it did reset it, so the circuit breakers do work. Barra here is 1032, so we hit this barra button, and that sets the HPA. And then it's already set up here for me, so we are ground level, which is really good. So right, so let's take the brakes off, and then we're going to increase the throttle and bring it around. Try and taxi to Charlie 1. So we're going to come around here. Quick look outside. So Charlie 1 should be straight in front of us here. Let us know if you use this, the 172SP with the WB mod. See what you think of it. Again, I've watched a couple of videos over the past few days, just trying to see how everyone gets their head around it, and yeah, everyone seems to enjoy it. Again, if you see me making grave mistakes here, please let me know. It's all learning for me and all good fun to know. So we're coming to Charlie 1 here. Even the sound of the squeaks, which is really, really good when I hit the brakes. So we'll just stop here. The wind's pretty low, so you shouldn't have to turn really into the wind. And we'll do our run-ups. So ground check, parking brake is set, fuel quants are looking clear and balanced there. So we put the mixture full rich, just like in any aircraft. Fuel selector valve are on both, in the middle, just down here. Throttle, so we bring the throttle up and we check the mags. So throttle up to our 1800. Just Bring her all the way up. See that little drop there, so it looks like we're going to have to run it to try and clear that, because it's got the failed plugs. That's simulated pretty well actually. So to do that, I think before we do the mag check, we need to do that down. So I saw someone do this the way we did it. You lean for the EGTE peak at 1200 RPM for ground ops to prevent spark plugs. So we lean this all the way back, so just far enough, and then we run it at about 2000, 2100 RPM just to try and clear out the. There we go. There we go. So I'm going to run this up just for a couple of minutes. Say a couple of minutes, 1 minute. Try and clear any stuff that's going on in there. Clear those plugs out. I would assume carbon. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm guessing again, autopilot. So just give that another 10 seconds. See the temperature is now slowly starting to come up, which is good, so we know that's good. Right, let's bring it back now. Back to about 1400, and we'll go fully rich. That's definitely a lot better. So where we were before, check the mags now. 1800, try and hold it steady there, and we'll check no less than about 100 RPM drop. So over to the left, there's a small drop, and back, let it stabilize, and over to the right, yeah, about 100, and back to both. Okay, so so where are we? So let's bring that back, idle it back. About 1200 there. Full rich. Checked our vacuum gauge, our ammeter, engine influence checked, annunciator panel check and consider. All looks clean, which is good. We've done the test earlier on, and we're idling now. So before takeoff, doors are locked and closed. Avionics, comm, nav. We don't really need them at the minute because we're not doing anything with the autopilot, or we may do. I think the autopilot we will set when we get up in the air, see what it's like. Altimeters, we are local, so we are set here. Elevator trim is set for takeoff. Our flaps we're not going to have. Our pitot heat is required, and our mixture below 3000 is full riched, and we lean when we get above 3000. That's fine, we can do that. Right, so what we'll do is we'll put our landing lights on, taxi lights off, and our strobe lights on as we're entering the runway. Again, I've not really put anything major on here yet, so quick left and right, and we'll take the brake off, and off we go, and backtrack down to 6. I think the Accu season has made a little difference already to the ground, which is nice. Again, I'm trying to see what the system is possible, what I can push it to. I've not got the, I would say, latest and greatest, but it's enough to get me going. Quite enjoy it. Squeeze. I really think that's brilliant. So we'll come down to the end here, and we'll make a small turn around. Slow and steady. Okay. There we go. So we're going to take off. We'll get up to about 1,000 feet and we'll make a left-hand turn, come back around downwind, and then we'll try and join where we need to go. So everything lined up. Okay, just to run off what I need to do. Normal takeoff. So we line up and brake, verify the flaps are good, we release up to full, we rotate about 50 to 55, and we climb at around about 70 to 80. When we're clear, we'll do the flaps, which we don't need, and we'll accelerate. And then we'll come around. So, right, so hand to the brakes, bring everything up a little bit, probably about 2000, make sure everything is happy and in the green. Everything looks good, temperatures, T's and P's look good. And then we off and full throttle. Try and hold the centre line. Slight forward pressure. I learned that back in the day. Just give us that extra little bit of runway. Shouldn't need too much. We're at 60 knots already and we should be able to come up. Nice and light. Off we go. Okay, we're going to try and go for between 70 and 80 climb. Does want to climb. Slight trim to help my hand. Yeah, didn't like that too much. Okay, we'll get to 1,000 feet and we'll make that left hand turn. Okay, coming up to 1,000. Slowly start to come around left. Completely different having the wing above. You can see obviously a lot more on the ground compared to the PA, the Piper, so just adds fruitful viewing for sure. Right, we'll just fly parallel downwind to the runway as best we can in a minute. Lean up there. It's giving me an alert there, I'm not too sure what that is. Okay, up we go. Right, we'll climb to about 3,000. There we go, there's the airfield there. There's Exeter as we leave it and say goodbye. So we get to 3,000. I'll give the autopilot a go. Apparently, as soon as you switch it on in the aircraft, it should enter a roll mode. Hopefully, and then hold us where we are. But who knows? We'll see what happens. I'll keep that ball in the middle. Okay, so 100 feet to go, a little bit of cloud. I didn't realise that. Again, what I'm seeing on my screen and what I'm seeing in the sim are two different things in a minute. So we're living out here. We may have to come down a little bit, I think, if that's the case. So let's just come down ever so slightly. Cannot get the weather right, and I know that's one of the most frustrating things for a lot of people. Weather just doesn't seem to match real world, but where we are, so let's just trim that down, so we just drop. Let's give the autopilot a go. So we switch it on. We've entered roll mode there, and I do have a vertical speed, so it's held that for me. So if I just, okay, right. Let's put heading mode on. Let's sync the heading so we're in the right place. So heading east. We're going to slightly move to the left here to try and get back on track and follow the motorway up. So I'll push heading. There we go. Heading mode seems to work. I'm going to pull back on the throttle ever so slightly. We don't want to be going too fast. Save some fuel. So let's bring that back 2200 for now. See how well that does. I think we have to come down a little bit more again. So see how well the vertical speed mode goes. Let's come down 500 feet and hold an altitude of 2500. So, speed 500. Holds it quite nice actually, which is good. Okay, so again, according to what I'm seeing in Sky Demon and what I'm seeing in the sim, two different things, but let's hold it there. I think there's quite a nice level there. So, right, so gonna bring our heading round. It's nice to try out the autopilot again. Being in the PA28, you have the very simple autopilot, which just seems to work. It's always a nice little feature. Again, they added the vertical speed mode in there, which you wouldn't normally get in the PA, but in here you've got it. So try and maintain 2200 there. Right, so we are now after takeoff checklist. So we're at the climb, we're holding there, so we're going to lean now. So let's bring back our mixture before this starts to kick up a fuss. There we go, slight wobble there, so we've leaned the aircraft, trying to save some fuel. So here we go, so we're going to, yeah, hopefully this isn't a long flight. We're probably looking at about 15-20 minutes across the country here. We're going to head up to Yeovilton, see how we get on, hang a right at Yeovilton, and then straight down into Bournemouth and do an approach into Bournemouth. So I'll do some really cool editing looking shots and snaps just to see how we got on, to save you sitting behind here constantly with me. But looks like the accuracies and stuff is good. Actually, it's coming through. So it has changed a lot of the foliage and trees and that on the ground, which is quite nice this time of the year. And I've got that to auto update as well, which I thought was good. Actually, you can just kind of sit it in the background and off you go. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be on to a winner. So yeah, we're in the cruise. I'll try and keep it as level as I can, and I'll see you soon. So just down to our left should be Watchford Farm, just down here. It's a great part of the country down here. When I was younger, I used to be down here a lot, so I know it very, very well. More to do with the green until you get into the built up areas into the middle, but yeah, lovely views. Even in the sim, absolutely spot on. Just below us is Chard on the map. If you're from Chard, hello. It's a nice little place. So, coming up to Yeovilton, there is they've got a MATS M80Z around the outside, 1,000 to 3,000 feet on the radar. Again, to try and keep as real as I can, I'm just going to hang a small right to come out of that as well. Save having to speak. If it's the real well. There we go. Yeah, just down below we've got Chard down here. So we're going to make a small right turn and we'll cut across and go over the top of the A30. Should just be outside of the Yeovil ATZ as well, to try and avoid them. should see the A30 just off our left. Should be able to come up and see it to follow. It's a problem with a lot of fields, you can't see really a lot of the roads. I believe it's here. All the way going through there, so this will be the A30. You should be able to follow this all the way up. Goes all the way up into Yeovilton. East Chinook airfield should be just off to our left as well, so over here, let's see if we can see it from the air. There we go, just there by the looks of it. This is East Chinook. Grass strip. Okay. So while we're going through, let's have a quick look at Bournemouth. Let's have a quick look at our charts for Bournemouth. So Bournemouth here. There we go. So look at the runways here. So our preferred runway at the minute is 26 coming into Bournemouth because we've got that headwind, so we keep that in mind. Yeah, nice and simple. So we'll go with 26. Sky Demon should give us that little option down to the right here when we get close of how to join. So hopefully it's going to be probably a downwind join. I'm not too sure on the circuit with this. Again, they've got a CTA around the outside. We're not doing that today. Ooh. Okay. Taking my eyes off the sim for 2 seconds, and we've suddenly got this layer of cloud. Again, there's problems here because in the sim is different for some reason of what I'm seeing in the real world once again. So I wonder if Rex is a little bit off. Yeah, we shouldn't be having this down. Apparently, according to the real world, it's pretty clear down there. So I may just switch that off. Okay, so we're going to be here for about another 4 nautical miles, and then we're going to slightly turn right to head down to Bournemouth. Anyone else get annoyances with weather, please leave me a comment. It's just not me. I'm pretty open to anything these days to try and make it work. Any advice you've got on how to get the real weather? Do you use the weather in sim all the time? Do you use any add-ons? Let us know, and I'm willing to try. Nothing seems to match. But at least AccuSeason seems to be working well. Quite pleased with that. Yeah, it's nice colours this time of the year. Hopefully over the months when we start to do this tour more and more, it will become a bit more paramount how good the product is. I've heard good and bad. I think it's taken a little while to get the bugs out of the system, but overall it looks good. Right, so 2200, we're still hanging around the 2200 RPM. Coming up to Bournemouth soon. I'm going to bring us down again to, let's take down to 2,000 feet. Again, this layer of cloud just keeps coming out of nowhere, but it's not on my TAF or anything of the sort. Right, small right turn now. We hug over Blandford Forum straight to Bournemouth. Now we've got proper weather. Let's just bring this up a little bit more. Back up to 2500. Give us some room. So Bournemouth should be directly in front of us now. Over here, when we get closer it should pop into sight. So again, going over Blandford Forum, which is below. This is Blandford Forum here. Straight over the top there. Straight into the CTR. CTR. And it'll be a downwind for 2.6. It looks like left hand is the circuit high, so we'll be joining on dead side. So to do that, I think what we'll do is we'll cross over and come and join the circuit around the back. Make sure that we join it correctly. Sometimes they don't like dead side unless you then go over the threshold and then around, but give a little bit of lenience with no one in with us. Okay, so 2500 right. So our descent throttles as desired is fine. Our mixture, we'll go for full rich when we're back in a sec. We're on both on the fuel tanks, which is nice. Avionics are all set and our altimeters are local. Nothing's really changed across since we're going, so we'll make the visual approach. So normally we call Bournemouth CTR now, 11948. Again, we don't need to today. I think what we'll do, we'll come off the autopilot now. Full control. A bit more fun. So we'll enter the CTR right bang on the edge, and then so we'll come round and do the circuit join on the live side for runway 26. Start to come down, so try and hold here. We'll try and hold 2300 now, so it should be 2000 when we enter the CTR. Really, that's their coverage, just so they know where we are. Try not to chase the needles, let everything settle as it should. See the coast now. So we're downwind now, so what we're doing, we're slowly going to start to pull back. We'll go full rich and slowly start to come down, probably to around about 1600 feet before we make the base turn. There we go. Trim it down, bring some speed back. Try and be in the white arc for 2 stages of flaps when we turn base. Slowly come down at 500 feet per minute. Watch that trim. Trim does feel really good actually in this one compared to the PA28. It's a little bit more sensitive, but it just feels more realistic, which is really bizarre. Okay, so we should be off. There we go. So start to turn now for our base. Keep us coming down. Try and get to about 75, 80 knots before we put some flaps in the white arc. Feet there. Alright, we're in the white arc now, so we can bring in 2-stage. Bring us back. Keep our power there ever so slightly so we don't dip. There's our base leg, a little bit high, so make sure we'll put it back on that throttle. It's all the way down. Throttle, pitch, throttle, pitch. Try and see those pappies. There they are. Bring this down so we drop it. Should we? A little bit hard. We've got some good length of the runway though, so it should be okay. 65. I'm going to aim for. There we go. There's the pappies coming in. These trees look very high this end. I can't remember if that's real or not. Okay, everything's good. Landing gear we don't have to bring down. Fuel is rich. Mixture's good. Sorry, the mixture's rich. And we've got the pappies there. So we'll try and aim for 55 to 60 knots. Feet per minute coming down on the pappies. A little bit low. Small correction. There we go. Power off. Hold the pitch. There we go. Ah, that wasn't too bad. I enjoyed that. Okay, let's get off the runway. So we'll taxi down just to the exit point here. Bring the flaps up. Just here. Here we go. Okay, clear the runway. We can turn the landing and taxi on and the strobes off. Turn it around here, shall we? And request the tabs. Takes me back. Okay, so we'll just stop here. Park and brake on. Okay, so after landing, so taxi lights are off, landing lights are off, the strobes are off. Let's turn our lights off down here. So we can turn our navs and beacons off now. Transponder to standby. Turn that off all the way now, we don't need it. Flaps are up and the pitot heat is off. It's there. So, securing. So, everything pretty much comes off now. So, we pull the. Usually we run the aircraft for a little bit, but again, we're in the sim. So, pull back our mixture, shut the engine off, everything down, and then we've got avionics masters off and our main master off. Okay, well, we made it. Again, I really enjoyed that. It was really good fun. It's nice to get into the autopilot side of things with the aircraft. I've got a lot to learn with it. I think the most frustrating thing about that was the weather. The weather was just shocking. It was nothing like what I had on the real world. Again, if anyone's got any hints and tips about the weather, let me know how you do it. See if it's, it gets to a point where I have to flip it to the real world as best as I can. Maybe that's what I should do. Just stick with the preset, knowing what the task's going to say. And again, hints and tips on using the WB mod for the for this 172. That was really good fun. Hope you enjoyed this one. I know it's episode 3, and add-ons and everything I'm bringing into the sim. I hope you're enjoying what I'm doing. I am as well. Again, it's just for me at the minute, and hopefully anyone can enjoy what I'm doing along the way. The next one will be from Bournemouth, and we're going to be flying from Bournemouth down to Shoreham. Actually, it's my home airfield in Shoreham, so I live close to Shoreham. I'm down on the south coast, so that'd be nice to take it down there. That one's going to be more along the coast, so we'll get into Shoreham and enjoy that down there. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. Keep an eye out for the next one, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers, bye.